Today, on Be Something Wonderful, when the opposite appears while feeling your wish fulfilled. I am your host, Tom Karen, and this is the Be Something Wonderful studio of Higher Consciousness, where we help you level up and become the best version of yourself. Creators, welcome back. I heard from one of you that said, Tom, you mentioned that when the opposite happens, that you've got to look at everything that it's on the path of least resistance to everything you want. You've got to look at everything as part of the unfolding. Well, something happened while I've been in my wish fulfilled, and it's traumatic. It's not just the opposite. I'm devastated by this event. And it's just hard for me to believe that that's the path of least resistance. Well, guys, I want to cover this today and more. So this happened. There was a situation that wasn't traumatic like this, but with a client that wanted to get back with his ex, right? And he wasn't together with her, and he heard he was maintaining his wish fulfilled. He was in fulfillment for sure, right? Or at least that's what he believed, and he heard rumors that she's actually breaking up with her ex. And then as he's in fulfillment, feeling really good about it, they even started communicating, right? They started exchanging texts and so forth. Then he sees her out with the guy and didn't talk to her. He kept his distance, but they were having a good time. She didn't know he was there. Right? And and he goes, Tom, it's the total opposite. They look like they're going to be together forever. And I said, you can't know that. You can't know. It's not your job to determine what or to judge the meaning of any event in 3D. Right? Your job is not the how. It's not the when. Right? It's none of that. Your job is just to determine the what. And then God's job is to determine how it's going to unfold, when it's going to unfold, right? Where it's going to unfold. Right? When you start judging 3D events, then you move quickly out of your wish fulfilled. You're not in fulfillment at all. Right? Everything, you've got to trust that higher power, that it has all of the events ever in infinity that ever were, is, or will ever be. It's all there, and God has the broader perspective. God knows how the pieces fit. Your only job is to imagine your wish fulfilled, to persist in that fulfillment, to allow everything to unfold as you walk across the bridge of incidence and along the path of least resistance to everything you want. So lo and behold, with this one instance, he held off, right? He went back to fulfillment, although he was still feeling a bit unfulfilled, right? He trusted in the higher power. And so what happened? Well, they continued to exchange texts, and it turns out that was their last date. They were just reminiscing and being friends and having a good time. They weren't getting still together. They weren't going to stay together. And it turns out that my client did get back together. I haven't had any updates since then, but that's what we're talking about, guys. This is power. So this is what you say, I'm occupying the state of my wish fulfilled, but the opposite is what I'm seeing. And not just in this cases of both these clients, but in the most recent case, it was a traumatic opposite, or it appeared to be, or it appears to be, right, from the outside. But you can't possibly know anything looking from the outside in, right? Your job is to compose your ideal reality, illuminate that future frame. As we talked about, think of the reality as a film roll. And each event or condition is a frame. You're going to illuminate the future frame. You're going to imagine your wish fulfilled and live in that desired end. Occupy that imagined end. Right? That's your job. It's the what and why. What do you want? Why do you want it? Sometimes it's nice to know why. Why provides get you more closer to that wish, but definitely what? God's job is everything else. How, when, and where. right? As soon as you start judging events, you're out of fulfillment. And now you're judging reality. You might even try to manipulate it, send texts or call or do something to push it forward, right? Your job is not to determine the chain of events, or in other words, the bridge of incidents, or to judge them. None of that, right? The only assumption, the only judgment that leads to everything you want or desire is that everything is part of the path of least resistance and the bridge of incidents leading you to everything you desire. That's the only judgment. It's good and very good, as Scripture says, right? That's the only judgment. Let's unpack this a little bit more. Stop resisting and trying to escape unwanted realities. This is what's keeping you bound to them. Remember the resurrection of Lazarus when Jesus said, "Unbind him and let him go." That's what we're talking about. Unbind yourself and let yourself go from these unwanted realities, right? Nothing exists outside of you. You are consciousness. You are one with all that is. This is what some of the teachers like Abraham Hicks talked about. It's the other side of the stick, right? On one side, you're the subject, the perceiver, the cause, the creator, right? On the other side is the object, perception, effect, creation. On one side's the wanted, on the other side's the unwanted also. But it's all one. So as you chase what you want, or as you run away from what you don't want, you can't get there. You can't attract what you want. You can't be what you want. Do you see that? Because you are it. That's why you can't escape or get rid of unwanted realities. You are infinity. As one spiritual teacher said, there's nowhere to put it. It's infinity. It includes everything, right? It's an inclusive universe. It's an inclusive God. It's an inclusive infinity. That's why you never catch what you chase. Do you see that you can't chase it because you are it? You're chasing your own tail. Or you're running away from yourself. Do you get this? That's why you can never catch what you chase and never lose what you run away from. That's big. You can never lose it. It's always with you. The more you run, the more, there it is. Right? The more you chase it, the more further away it is. Right? And chasing it implies that you're not it. It implies that it's in the future. It implies that it's apart from you. It implies separation. Right? And the same with trying to lose something. Right? You can't lose it. You can't run away from it. It includes infinity. It's all there is. Everything's connected, right? The key is bring understanding and acceptance to all of it. That's the key. Accepting that reality, accepting it as one quantum possibility, it doesn't mean you agree with it, right? To agree with a reality keeps it in place. To accept it sets it free. To agree with a reality keeps you bound to it, like Lazarus, right? To accept it is to set it free. Wow, that's big. But you can never lose what you desire. That's the good news. What you desire, what's already yours, you can never lose. It's yours. It's yours. You're one with it. So let's hit this a little bit more. Be still and know that I'm God. Or in other words, be still and know that you have it all. Right? Stop chasing what you want. Stop running away from what you don't want. And just be and have it all. Stop trying to get rid of stuff and stop trying to chase stuff. Just lighten up. That's what enlightenment means. That's what all the spiritual greats say, right? And rise in consciousness to where your desires are already manifested, right? Remember, you're an individualized aspect of God, of that holographic whole of infinity. Right? So when you resist or reject any part, you're resisting and rejecting the whole of infinity. You're resisting or rejecting God. Right? Whenever you reject any part, remember the hologram, each part of a hologram or the holographic nature of reality reflects the whole. And it's non-local, meaning it's everywhere and it's everything and everywhere all at once. Just like the movie. It's all happening now. Right? That's the holographic nature. What you do to anyone or anything in reality, you are doing to yourself. Wow. Powerful. So, When you claim, assume, and occupy, this is big. And I've had this discussions with several of you. So all of my clients at one time, probably. And even in the early days when I was responding to comments and emails, right? When you claim, assume, and occupy that new version of yourself and new reality, the opposite appears as evidence of who you are not any longer. Remember, you're in 3D duality. Opposites exist. Trying to get rid of them, trying to resist them, trying to say you don't want them, it just ties you to them. They're there. They're part of duality, right? But remember, from the broader perspective, cause equals effect. Creator equals creation. Conceiver equals conception, right? There are no opposites. That's why you can't judge anything. You've got that puny 0.1% view of reality, and you're making judgments and decisions on that. That's big. Opposites don't exist within the unified field or unified whole of all that is. The quantum field, right? Infinite intelligence, they don't exist. They only exist in 3D reality where the whole is perceptually divided into time and space. Do you see that? That's your mechanism for perceiving. It's your 3D linear mechanism to be able to sort out reality, to be able to experience what it's like to be all that is, what it's like to be God, right? They only exist in 3D reality where the whole is perceptually divided into time and space. Here you are, right? And I'm not saying you're all unhappy. This is just an example. Aware of unwanted reality. 0.1% of that reality you're identifying as that is it. You're identifying with it like that's who you are. That's real to you. Do you see that? You're only aware of this. And you're unaware of the wanted, the 99.9%, what affects your reality undetected by your senses. 99.9% and more affects your reality and goes undetected by your 3D sensors. You can only feel and know that. That's why. Right? But while you're looking at the opposite, you're not feeling and knowing that 99.9%. What are you doing? You're staring at the 0.1% and identifying that as bad, as your life, as what's going on. That's big. So let's hit this. Remember, it's only ever your identification with the unwanted reality that keeps you stuck or bound, like Lazarus, bound to it, right? The good news is being aware of the unwanted reality means you are above it in consciousness. What you are aware of, you are above. You're not it. It's not who you really are. Wow, that's big. You are not it, not who you really are. So what's the key? What's the key? Here's the key. Here's a few, if you want steps. They're not really steps. It's holistic. But here's the key. Bring understanding, acceptance, and recognition to the unwanted reality, to the unwanted. Accept it, right? Don't agree with it. You don't have to agree with it. Look at it as one quantum possibility and know that you can't possibly know the broader perspective. You can't know what the cause and effect events are because cause equals effect in the broader perspective, right? Then choose again. Move your awareness back to what you want or your desired reality. Live in that imagined end, right? Remember, it's just one quantum possibility out of an infinite number of possibilities. Call forth your desired reality while accepting and standing in that unwanted, knowing you're only got a puny 0.1% view of what's really going on. And all around you and within you is the 99.9% of what you really want. Feel and express gratitude. Third step, very important, guys. We talk about this a lot, but I really want to hit this. Express gratitude for all of it. Wow. Gratitude and appreciation. You can't, if you're not feeling that, how can you expect that, how can you say that you're in wish fulfilled? You can't possibly, if you're not feeling gratitude and appreciation, you're not in wish fulfilled. You're in worry, you're in frustration, you're in impatience. Right? You're in wanting, you're in longing, you are waiting for something, right? Wow, that's all big. When the opposite, so remember the principles, right? The mirror principle. The world, the reality won't smile until you do. You're looking in the dual mirror of reality, right? And the 3D world is just a reflection of what's going on within you, the image within you, right? The 3D world can't change until you change that image within. And it's holographic and non-local, which means what you think, feel, believe, and assume is everywhere and everything in all time. It's everywhere as soon as you think it and feel it and believe it. And it's all right now. And it's everything. Huh. That's big. So guys, that's what happens when the opposites appear. So when opposites appear, well, your wish fulfilled. That's what to do. I am your host, Tom Caron, and this is the Be Something Wonderful studio of Higher Consciousness, where we help you level up and become the best version of yourself. Don't forget to subscribe, hit the notification button, like and share our videos. That's how we get our message out. You can follow us on Facebook at Be Something Wonderful. We have a Facebook group that's growing called the Be Something Wonderful Ambassadors. You can find that under Facebook groups, Be Something Wonderful. And you can also follow us on Twitter and Instagram at Tom Caron. We also have our website, tomcaron.com or besomethingwonderful.com. With great love, with great light, with infinite gratitude, this is Tom. See you soon.